Go to my page now, and it's
Okay.
on my page.
Oh,
Actually,
because
I
I
can
see it.
yeah, I can actually just tag you if you want. Let me see. Why is it coming out like that?
Let's see, because okay,
That's
it's
very
coming up now.
strange.
Yeah.
Hang on, it's coming out very strange. Wait, let me try something else. I'll be darned. I didn't put it. Oh well, it's too late.
I can see it
You
now.
can? Okay, so you should be able.
Yes,
You should be able. My friend has a.
yes.
Oh, here she is, Renata. Okay.
It's
Uh,
okay. I'm posting it. I'm posting it.
yeah, I got you. I'm just trying to
Okay.
figure out why it won't let me save it.
Oh,
Okay, so you got it because it's not letting me do it for some reason. All right, let me.
yes.
Oh
So
my
how
God!
can I share?
Oh,
How
hello
can I
there.
share the?
Boom. Okay, sorry about that. That was crazy. That was crazy. No, it's back on again.
Okay, so you got it because it's not letting me do it.
Stop. Okay, we're good. All right, everybody, welcome to Soul Speaks 5D, the very professional, professional studio. Although we are in a professional studio, we're at my friend's. Her name is Chanda Sparkles, and this is the Sparkles Studio. It's very nice. Hang on, let me turn on the top light.
Okay.
Ah,
I think
I'm getting. Did you share it?
I think so. Yeah. I think I did it in both pages. So
Okay. So okay,
yeah.
let me just make sure because I'm on a totally different setup here. We're having a real problem right now with being suppressed on both Facebook and YouTube. So if anybody, these shows resonate, if you don't mind sharing it to one page or one group so that we can kind of offset the algorithms. Okay. So it's great to have my beloved sister back at NA. I think I'm going to see my aunt at NA down here. Her birthday is
You
March
have an aunt named Irini?
at NA. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I had
You do?
actually, yes. And I had a great grandmother who she was named after at NA. Yeah. So,
And
but, hmm, what's that?
you know what Irini means, right?
No. What does it mean?
Peace.
Peace?
Yeah. In Greek, it means peace. And if you go to the root of the word, it means connecting people, bringing people together or energies together.
I would say my aunt's like that. She's one of those people that she brings people together. Yeah. I haven't seen her in a long time.
And
I don't know if she lives.
what about your name?
Todd?
Where does it
Todd
come?
means, where does it come from? I've looked it up before. So I was raised in a Spanish or Hispanic or Mexican American family. And for some reason, when I was born, when my brothers and sisters were born, I was born in December 1961. Yes, I will be 60 at the end of the year. But we down here, there was a kind of a, I guess, a movement for the Mexican families to become anglicized. To like my family did not speak Spanish, even though both my parents spoke Spanish. They didn't speak Spanish at home. That they wanted us to be what they call anglicized. So, getting back to my name is an Anglo name. When I meet people and I speak a little bit of Spanish, I don't speak very much, but como está usted, and they'll say, como se llama? And I'll say Todd, and they'll go, Todd, Todd, because there's no such name. In fact, when I was taking Spanish, I took 2 years of Spanish in college. They wouldn't call me Todd. They would have to call me Antonio because there's no Spanish name for Todd.
Oh,
But I looked up the name Todd, and it's an old English variant, and it means fox. You know, so
mm.
I don't. I think it goes a little deeper than that. I had I had Okay. There's a reason that you and I are talking. There's a reason before the show started that, and by the way, we can only see the comments on my Facebook page, and I'm going to pull up YouTube as well. Elaine Cleland says Todd means Robert. I did not know that. But
Means what?
she said it means Robert, like Roberto.
I thought it would probably be Theodore or something.
No, my son, I named my son Theodore, Teddy. I'm going to see him pretty soon because we're down here visiting. Hopefully, I
Oh,
get to
that's
see
nice.
hopefully I get to see my kids, my family. But anyway, yeah. So we were talking before the show. There's no coincidence. There's two things that are important. So I said, I said, how are you doing? You said, I'm good. And then I was busy. And then you said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great. But I've gone through the most 24-hour, the most vulnerable period of my life. And I know that sounds really dramatic and, like it just, like, yeah, come on, Todd, but it's true. Okay. I'm telling you the truth. It's a very kind of a complex thing. And, and I think so then I asked you, no, then you said, well, mine's been like that too, the last 24 hours. So right then I knew something was going on. I had these massive lucid dreams last night. Incredible. I mean, just so detailed, right to the last second when I woke up. And, yeah, so I don't know. And you mentioned about Uranus and Saturn. Is that what it was?
That was about the weather.
Oh, okay, the
Because
weather.
you said everywhere is snowing, everywhere is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, an aspect like that can bring cold weather. But today here in Athens, we had an amazing, beautiful day, very sunny. But we're preparing for cold and snow.
Well, the Buddha Chick Shanti Namaste on YouTube. She says this new moon, this new moon hit me hard. I forgot there was a new moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I might start crying, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's cry together because my eyes cry
Huh?
by themselves. Like,
Huh?
I've had tears in
I
my
can't even
eyes
see.
without me crying. They're just
Yeah.
tears are coming out. And I've had some tickling sensations, but very, very intense today. Like around my eyes, at the back of my neck,
Yeah.
around my chest. We're getting new bodies. We're getting our new bodies.
I think that's a part of it. I was rushing to get this show started because since we were using Zoom, I wasn't ready. Oh, Alana Hartman says that Todd means resembling a fox.
Wow.
Anyway, but what was I talking about? Oh, I was setting it up, and on what you were saying, I just happened to see when I turned on Facebook to send you the link at the top of the news feed. Sandra Walter, she had a post up, and I just happened to catch the first 3 or 4 lines, and it said that, in other words, it was talking about the geomagnetic that just happened. I guess like a storm or whatever the code's coming in, but her reference was in regard to the changes in the body. So yeah, and so that fits. There's no coincidences. The way these things are presented to us, there is an order to them.
Well, for me, this big change started on the 21st of December. That was the day that I literally witnessed with the group that we worked with the merging and the union of Father Sun, Father Fire, and Mother Pearl, Mother Water,
Wow.
and birthing plasma in the physical. And, plasma in Greek means the being, the creature, something you create, something you mold with your hands or with your mind, with your fantasy.
Wow.
So for me, that day, what I experienced, it was the birthing of the child, plasma.
The birthing of the child.
yes, which is plasma, liquid light, liquid fire, in the physical, in our
Wow.
physical bodies
Well,
more than ever. And since then, it has
gotcha.
been really, 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 really intense. Like it's been flooding our bodies, our cells, the aura.
This is good. This is good.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah. Well, first of all, on March the 11th of 2020. Well, first of all, let me say this. So the date you're talking about was most parts of the world, they refer to it as 21/12/2020, right? And anytime there's twos and ones, these last few years, there's a lot going on. So I'm looking at the clock
there is a
now.
day like that.
Right. I'm looking at the clock now on my computer because I use New York time, and it says 1:21, and it's 12/2/2021. So
Yeah.
there's significance there. But in regard to what you were saying, on March the 11th, 2020, Morgan, when we put our hands together, she connects as the feminine tends to do. And we had an experience, and that experience was the conception of the golden child energy that would be born and birthed on or around 21/12/2020. And then
I
during
remember that. I
remember that, and
remember that.
then during the year, other people were referring to it in their own words, in their own description, metaphorically. And now you're saying this. So from that period, my beloved sister Eirini, to today, what the hell's going on? Why am I in tears? I told Morgan last night I either want to fight or F or cry. One of the three. I don't know. And I'm confused. Very confused. And I don't know. I know that the what you said about the body, because I had it a few days ago, as this 5 or 6 day period started for me. I was actually being shown when I asked what's going on. All I could see was the cellular change in my body and my DNA.
Exactly.
That's all I could
Yeah.
see. That they weren't explaining anything to me. I just kept seeing. She kept saying, "What are you feeling?" And I said, I'm just seeing the cellular part of my body, and these hairs, these little tiny hairs, that I think were on the end of the DNA. I
The
forget what.
mitochondria.
Yes, mitochondria. Yes, and but there was no explanation. All there was this visual, and for me, and I want to hear what you have to say, but for me, see, I tell you, I'm going to start crying. So for
Go on.
me,
We're here. We're all fine.
there was this feminine energy that's been coming in over the last few months, slowly but surely. Some really powerful things happen in November and December, but like with the guidance of the mother energy, which is incarnated, as Morgan in my creation, this feminine energy came out. And I mean, I'm talking about like literally turned on in all the cells of my body. I woke up last night and I didn't even know it. I was in a lucid dream and I woke up and said something. This is like at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And she said, "Well, what?" And I said, "What do you mean, what?" She said, "Why? What did you just say that?" And I said, "I was asleep and I just came out of it." So she told me what I said, and then I knew what was going on. So what ends up happening with some really, compassionate prodding from her at 3:30 in the morning, I expressed myself to her. And it was so different. It was just the only way I can explain it is that my feminine voice came out. And in that expression, I also realized what the feminine has gone through. I realized that the feminine had not been heard, that had not been respected, had not been honored. I aligned with that knowing and that reality. And at the same time, that voice inside of me brought unity to me, not to mention the night before, we've had some really powerful sacred sexual interludes during this period, but I'm not talking about physical, I'm not talking about traditional, what what we used to think sex was, right? Powerful, powerful. And at one point, what happened there was I embodied or aligned with how a woman just is always being touched, right? Always being grabbed, always being touched. And I aligned with it. And I was like, holy shit, this is what y'all have gone through. So I don't know if this period between what you're talking about, the solstice to today or whatever, has is I doubt it's the same for everybody, but I wanted to share that, and I didn't even ask Morgan, and I hope she's okay with it. I think she will be, because it's not anything too, but I just feel like it's an important thing to say, especially for men. So please tell me, sister, what you've gone through for the last few weeks and what you know and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's getting difficult and more difficult to explain things. I feel like words are becoming irrelevant. I will try. I will try to share some things, but yeah, it's mostly a feeling. It's mostly a sensation. It's mostly body sensations, body realizations. It's inner worlds waking up. It's us piercing through the veils of our own bodies. We've been carrying membranes in our body and around our cells, which were holding ourselves away from true light and true life. And these membranes, if I say it correctly, membranes, yes, are dissolving right now from our inner worlds, our inner cells, and our inner bodies. And this is, first of all, a very unknown process. Because it is in the physical body, it's happening, and it's so alive. It's not in the spiritual world or the energy. It is inside our physical body. So everything that comes up is been coming up very strongly, like very intense. And because you said about dreams, the past few weeks, I've had the most strong dreams, nightmares, beautiful dreams, amazing things in my dreams, but very intense and very, very alive. The colors, very strong, intense colors. And during the day, I've had a lot of tiredness. I had to sleep a lot, eat a lot, depending on some days. And with the group, we have been working after the 21st of December. We were guided to open the inner chambers of the heart, because we were basically living and experiencing life for eons without the whole presence of our heart. So we opened those chambers, and after we opened those chambers, we were called to revisit certain timelines where the twin flames were attacked. And remember, yes, and remember, and clear all these things out again, because we had done this work before, but this is different. And as we know, our broader being, when it comes here to be incarnated in the physical, it incarnates in 12 sacred flames, right? 6 female and 6 male. And we have been working with these flames. We have been working to actually restore and salvage the male flames and recorrect and realign the female flames. And this is such a deep work, so deep. Because yes, the female has been attacked, tortured, betrayed, you name it.
Yeah.
But because of this, we had lost, the female flames had lost their sanity, right? They had lost what is right and what is wrong. They had lost true sense of the self, the true position. And they have been in many, many expressions, manipulative, angry, victimized. They were choosing to be victimized. They were choosing to be manipulative. They were choosing to fill in gaps for the male flames. And now they are being called, the female flames are being called to stop filling the gaps for the male flames, pull back the energy,
Right.
and basically go through a total restart.
Right.
Okay? And it might sound simple, but it's not, because it includes the physical, which means this call of a realignment and restart in the physical, it includes practical everyday behaviors and choices. So
this
is a very deep process for the female flame.
Yes. And I'm listening to you, and I'm basically, I can relate to this because I'm living with a feminine that is doing and has done everything that you're actually talking about, right? And not only that, okay, be, but her energetic initiative has been the impetus for the masculine. Like when that feminine energy has made that move, there's got to be space for it, right? So there's only one thing that's not anchored in the truth. It's the same thing that you were talking about that affected both of them. So that distorted masculine starts to take a beating. And I think the other thing that's very significant that I can speak to is sacred sexuality. So, and I've said this many times on these shows, and again, Morgan being like you, Morgan being just being a representative of the divine feminine, the mother goddess energy, come down with purpose in this incarnation. And I said many times on this show, she downloaded sacred sexuality for years, among other things. And I said to her when we first started getting together, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We can't do this, we can't do that. And I said, well, what do we do? She says, I don't know, but I know what we're not supposed to do. So my point is that part of, at least my experience, our experience, what I've been honored to actually see, I'm probably gonna start crying again. Witness is the sacred sexuality to me is the core representation in the physical of what's happening and what can happen. And as this ascension and this incarnation has gone, the feminine leads the way. And what you're describing about her not filling this cup and her detaching and doing all this deep, deep, deep work to break all the patterns and break all the ancestral lineage behaviors and so on and so on, and holding on to the sanctity and the reverence and the power and the love, all those things exuded in sacred sexuality, that to me epitomizes what you're saying more than anything. And I got to tell you, guys, and I really don't like to go into male female stuff because I get really kind of, at some point the genders have got to merge, or however you want to put it, but we're not there yet. But I got to tell you something. This her and I had a discussion, I believe it was 2 nights ago. But this level of creative, intuitive leadership from the feminine is the real deal. It is the path. It is the yellow brick road. And maybe in some other incarnation, if you want to make your ego feel good, Mr. Todd or Mr. anybody, maybe in other incarnations we led the way. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, this leadership is real. It's full of golden particles, which is life force
And silver.
creation. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just really got what you were saying, and I wanted to share that. Can you tell us more?
Thank you. Thank you. No, I just said silver and gold together. I see both, and white. But Divine Mother is here for all, women, men, everyone, and she moves us from within. And what you're describing that you experienced with Morgan, she's a divine female who took responsibility of her presence and her energy and showed you the way, and you surrendered to this divine female, right? You surrendered, you trusted her, you let go, you had to let go, right? Of who you were or of who you thought you were. You had to let go. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to experience this.
That's right.
With her. And this is the secret for all the male presences, right? This is where most men block and stop because of what they have been through, because in their hearts they know they've left the female unprotected, because they know that they fell, because they know that the fake, the matrix basically got them. They carry in their hearts, in their beings very deeply, the shame, guilt, anger.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the majority, right?
Yeah.
They haven't found a way to break through this barrier. And the only way to break through the barrier is to come in contact with these emotions and to just breathe and let go. There's no other way.
Yeah.
And everything, all the events, everything that is happening around us has been pushing both male and females to reach that moment. And especially males, because this is a world built by male energy, right? And especially men, they are facing such difficulties right now in their everyday life, in the professional life, in their family life, and the push is very hard on them. And it's happening only for them to let go, breathe, and come in contact with those ancient emotions. I have to say, these are ancient blockages, ancient emotions, right?
Yeah. Yes.
This is the only way. There's no other way. Yeah. Trusting again.
That's right.
Trusting again in the unknown. Leaving the mind, going to the heart, and trusting the female, trusting Mother Goddess.
That's right.
Mother Pearl.
It's the truth.
I was thinking yesterday, how would it be if we had Mother Pearl, the true divine mother, as a moon in our system, right? Because this moon has been hacked, has been used, right? And just for a tiny second, I just felt in my heart and in my body the presence of the true moon, the organic true moon, and the presence of our divine mother, sun and moon, but the real ones, right? And it felt so, I felt so calm in my heart. I felt such a harmony and bliss just for a tiny second there. And I wished at that moment, I wished for this to happen.
Yeah.
And the pure elements were actually going through an element purification in our bodies.
Yeah.
We have forgotten how it feels. We have forgotten what it means to be in contact with the true elements, the true nature, the organic nature of all elements, because we've been living through a program.
Yeah.
And some days ago, again, as I was doing healing on myself, I saw this, because you spoken about you observing your cells, right? These days, I had the same experience, and there was a part at the back, at my back, the back part of my aura, where I could see pixels, not cells, pixels, and I had to clear it, I had to change it, I had to declare and affirm the transformation of those pixels. These are literal pixels.
Yes.
They were pixels in our consciousness of the program, resembling ourselves.
Right.
This is what we're going through right now. We're living the pixel reality, the program, and we're transitioning to the organic one.
Yeah. It's less a hologram and more, it's, moving away from a hologram to the pure energy, the same kind of thing we have in dreams, lucid dreams. And, um, I've been doing this a long time. I've had my good days. Well, I'm talking about the show. I've had my good days and I've had my not so good days. And I try to be honest about it. And I'm not fully balanced at the moment. I'm very emotional. But one of the things that I want to bring up is in regard to the general interactions in the lightworker community, and also to address a couple of comments here. And I appreciate the comments. I'm not throwing rocks at anybody, but sometimes we get caught up in semantics. We get caught up in the literal, and we say, "Oh, well, no, it's not that way. It's this way." Everything that we're talking about is a metaphoric explanation. You might see pixels, I might see it another way, but it's the same thing. Energetically, we're being shown what's happening. And
Words not explains
exactly,
things like
exactly. So that's exactly right. But the point I want to make is not to chastise anyone or anything. It's not about that. Well, the point I want to make is that sometimes your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. It's many times in a duality that applies many times. So just as the words are futile and come up short to describe something that's way beyond the human language, the opportunity that is before us has to do almost like with a maximization of frequencies, to include language, to include physicality, a very dense physical matter experience. So these things that are happening, yes, they happen many, many ways. This feminine and masculine journey that you've been talking about it is experienced in many, many, many different ways. And that's my only point. And this is not a weakness. This is a strength. It is a strength to be down here incarnated in physical bodies to demonstrate to the universal family and to expand the universal experience by increasing the number of frequencies and vibrations in our experience. And this is, I believe, why there is some confusion in the literal aspect of how things are through the language, and like you were saying. But I also believe that we can't forget that this physical experience, this very dense physical experience, is the maximum potential to date. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't easy work. This has been a pretty immense task. And I really feel like we are bridging potentially all fractures, all rifts from our ancestral lineage, our past, the galactic wars, on and on and on. We are actually bridging and healing and aligning all those things that have been misaligned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. And even if we do mistakes during this process, we cannot be perfect, but the correction is coming every time. Even if we go wrong with something, if our intention is true life,
yes,
it gets corrected, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And since we took this journey, Todd, of course, we would be here and we would go through this. We took this journey, so we're doing it. We're doing it. But I would like to share something that I've been noticing with people I work with, or with things I hear from people, right? There is a lot of fear in so many levels of life right now. And there are mothers who are worried about what their children would be, what's going to happen to their family, what's going to happen to their job, what's going to happen to their life as they know it. And there's still a lot of resistance to accept from the heart. And I'm talking again about the majority of people. I'm interested in the majority. And what I said before about the plasma, yes, many divine females and males have been preparing for this, but this is coming for the majority, for the whole of humanity now. So I would like to say this. There is a moment in the healing session or in the healing of the self that you come to the realization that you need to be ready, prepared, even to leave your body, even to die, to really start connecting with what is really happening. And I know that most of people are not ready. I'm not saying I'm ready for this. I'm just saying that I have come to this realization. I felt it in my body because we're going through a death process.
Yes.
Only this time, we're not dying and going in the loop of reincarnations. This time, we're dying to become alive. Yeah. It is so different. So during this process of dying, for many, the fear of death is coming up, because every time we were dying during all these eons, right? We were trapped in a system again, reincarnate and reincarnate. So every time we were carrying trauma, or maybe we couldn't fulfill what we wanted to fulfill, right? Only this time, I just want to send out this message. This time, we're fulfilling it all. This time, It's not about dying and getting entrapped again in a loop. This time is about breaking the loop and thriving. And whether we will do it with our physical bodies or not, at that moment will be so irrelevant, because the experience will be divine.
Yeah.
This is what I've been feeling very strongly.
Yeah.
At those moments, the experience of transition, the experience of change will be divine, ecstatic, blissful. So there's no reason for us to get stuck in the fear of the past. And what humanity's been going through with this pandemic is this: coming face to face with the possibility of dying.
Yeah.
Even the thought. And it's been in all the, it's been spreading, this thought of dying, it's been spreading everywhere. So everybody had to go through this process. Only again, I want to repeat this. This time, we're not here to die as we used to die and get entrapped in the loop of reincarnation. This time, we're here to fulfill our destination and align and bring on our true heritage. This is different. And it only takes breathing, coming to the now, coming in the body, to start feeling this.
Oh, you said a lot. Just a sidebar note on one of the things you said. So we came to my hometown. God, I hope I can talk without crying. Jesus. So we came to my hometown. I didn't. There's just a lot of stuff aligning, right? So it's been very powerful. So everything is really enhanced that's being presented. It's, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to think about what's happening as soon as it's. I'm not saying I know right away, but it's obvious what's happening in all moments. So we went to a couple of restaurants, right? And it's so amazing. We went to one restaurant, and it's the normal protocol everywhere we've been in Arkansas on the way here, has been you wear a mask, you go sit down, you take it off. If you get up to go to the restroom or you leave the restaurant, you put it on and leave, right?
Wow, you're lucky. Our restaurants are closed for
But
many months.
they've had some closures, but I'm just telling you this is. So we went to a restaurant the other night and nobody had a mask on. There was one person in the whole restaurant, none of the staff members, the waiters, the waitresses, the cooks, the managers, nobody had a mask on. And Morgan said, God, I want to go tell the manager, way to go, And I thought about it later and I thought, the atmosphere in that place was totally different than any other restaurant. And so if you look at that from an energetic standpoint, somebody busted the move, somebody broke the energetic door down, and now more will go that direction, And I just thought when you were saying that, when you're talking about that fear of death with this purported virus and so on, The other thing too was when you were talking about the death thing, it was 2 nights ago. We were talking for a long time, then we went to lay down. And I knew we could feel, I could feel it. There was going to be a strong sacred sexual interlude, exchange of code, and you never know what's going to happen. But before it started, she looked at me and she said, excuse me now while I die. And when, depending on what aspect of her is coming in, her voice gets altered. And I would have to say, what is her higher self has a very distinct voice. And it was that voice. and it said it again. Excuse me while I die. Like 3 times, 4 times. And finally I said to her, I thought she was like making a play on that Jimi Hendrix line, excuse me while I kiss the sky. So I said, excuse me while I kiss the sky. And she said, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's excuse me while I die. So that was the thing. Now, the next day, which would have been yesterday, I died all day. Like those words kept ringing in my head. And I thought
Yeah.
to myself, I've been through a lot of shifts and activations like we all have, but this thing that you explained earlier that I guess is apparently happening now has been.
There's more dying coming. There's
Vital.
more dying coming. And the first new sensation, first rebirth, we will experience it after the spring equinox. We are already getting a sensation of this rebirthing, but this year's rebirthing spring equinox is going to be something else. And there's going to be an opening of truth there, big truth. And many, many lies and deceptions will just fall apart.
Yeah.
And yesterday I had a discussion with a friend because of something really funny that took place here in Greece with our prime minister. It was a funny video going around, and we had so much laugh because he was so exposed of his, hypocritical behavior. And it only took a person who was very, very naive, somebody would say, or very simple person to actually make him look ridiculous, make the prime minister look ridiculous. And I said to my friend, you know what? I love this because it's lies. It is the deception coming down through humor and through laughter and through joy. And we don't have to, protest. We don't have to.
Right.
I would love an awakening like that through laughter and joy and innocence. This is how you break down the stupidity of darkness, of deception, of lies. It's because it's total stupidity.
Yeah. That's possible because, I know.
Why not? It's possible.
Well, like I know I've had experiences. Morgan will tell you. I remember the first one I had was in Houston on a bus. We drove on a bus 12 hours. The first time she came down, and I had a huge, enormous anchor lifted out of my heart with her help, And so I was like this. I was like blown away, and I was crying on the bus, and then I would just start laughing, right? So she went on to explain to me that, in her experience, that happens a lot. And it's probably happened to you and other people. You have this breakthrough and you go between laughing and crying. But so I could see where we could start to make, because I hear what you're saying, because you see that here, and we even see it on the news feed.
Yes, I love it because
like
the
that,
universe is in
right?
the mood.
Yeah.
It's in the universe seems to be in the mood of funny synchronicity, of really hilarious synchronicities, and it's so funny to see that.
Mm-hmm.
To see a really serious person with serious and terrorizing words to just
like don't take. That's what I was watching that David Icke Renegade movie before I interviewed him last month, just to get a feel, because it's a pretty recent movie and it's really about him. And there was an old man on the street corner in England, in London, and somebody went up to him and said, "What do you think of David Icke?" He said, "Well, I've been watching him for like 20 years. And, he's had a couple things to say." He said, "But the thing I really like about him is that he laughs at everything. And especially he laughs at himself." And I thought that was such a cool thing, for somebody to look at somebody who's got 30 years of research and 20 plus books, and the one thing that he pulled out of it was what you're talking about. Yeah.
I really wish, all the transition or the rebellion, or you whatever you want to call it, the awakening,
Yeah.
to happen like this. If I had a choice, I would choose that.
Well, I've never thought about it, but I think it'd be, and actually kind of makes sense, because you know how all of us have had a situation or a period in our life, and we've certainly seen it through our children. If you've had children, when a child is upset because they're taking something so seriously, but
Yes.
that moment when you snap and go, oh my God, like, and you just crack up because I do it all the time with myself, mostly in silence, but, because yeah, I think I told Morgan last night, if I didn't tell her it was in my lucid dream, about feeling stupid. Like you get to that point where you feel stupid, and I don't want
Yeah.
to feel stupid anymore. It's just about, yeah, don't take it so damn seriously and you won't feel stupid. Just understand, like you said earlier, you're going to make some mistakes. There's a really interesting comment here by a couple of our sisters. I'm going to read it to you because I know the comments aren't showing up for everybody, but it's thought provoking. So it's from Hung Nguyen, our sister up in Vancouver, Canada, and she was talking to Julie Dara Roberts, who is our Solargy cosmologist. Right? She was on a couple of days ago. She said, we were discussing this last night, and this is about what you were talking about earlier. I feel what is happening is the people who have primarily been tasked with building bridges like Todd Medina, that role has collapsed. The polarization between the frequencies have been so huge that our current bodies can no longer act in a bridge formation.
Yeah.
Without that connection between dimensions, it feels like falling into a huge asshole or absolutely nothingness. That's her humor, but that there's something to be said for that. And I don't think it's just about what she called those who build bridges. I'm watching a lot of stuff collapse. It's just not the same anymore. Whether it be somebody who does videos every day, or just different structures, like different things that they're just not holding their weight anymore. There's nothing for it to grab onto.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
Yes, we worked for many years, forerunners, light workers, you name it. Okay, so what? It's gone. This is gone.
Yeah.
We're moving on, and holding on to the old, it's not helping us, because we're really going within, and there will be a moment that it's going to be only us with ourselves and no one else.
Yeah.
Other people might be around us, but there will be a moment, that moment of transition, that we will be with ourselves, just with our being.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be able at that moment to build bridges or explain, or only our energy will be talking to people.
Right.
But everybody,
Right.
everyone will be called to go within and with themselves. Even if you have children around you, even if you have animals, people, I don't know, there will be a moment.
Yeah.
That moment of realization, awakening, transition, I don't know how you want to call it, that we will be us with ourselves. There's no other way that this transition can happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are reuniting the inner twin flames. That's why we're reuniting the 12 flames inside our being. This is a very, very deep and serious work. But I wanted to say something about the environment at the restaurant you went.
Mm-hmm.
This also shows how people are experiencing different realities. And this is going to be even more apparent and even more intense. They could be like two people, two houses next to each other, and one house experiencing, the people in one house experiencing a totally different environment than the other, totally different experience than the other. We are literally choosing our experiences from now on. We are becoming creators.
Yeah.
And
right.
the difference, it's going to be huge. It's already huge, but it's going to be very, very big difference. According to where one is aligning to what one is aligning to. One reality is really beautiful. The other one, okay, it could be a lot of fear there, or limitation, or deception. But again, I believe at those very moments when things will come to this edge, many people will jump. Many people will leave the old paradigm, will leave the program.
Yeah.
Even if they're now resisting, I really believe there will be a moment where a big, big portion of people will jump, will make a...
Well, this is what I was talking about in that example with this restaurant we walked into, because I really feel that, you know, the human's the hero. Another way of saying that is you can't do it without the divine human aligning with all of that it is. And what I mean by that is we're living in what we thought was a reality with hard and fast rules. And just like those people at that restaurant, now I know because I've seen the signs here, they chose not to say anything. They just said, we're not going to wear the mask. Now they when they came to take the order, they stood 6 feet away. I noticed that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that what you're talking about is exactly right. And I believe that one of the characteristics of that transition is going to be people, including me, okay, who say there are no borders, there are no lawless laws, there are no stupid regulations. I am not going to participate. And by doing so and making this decision, this choice from what I am as a energetic body, as an energetic force and influence, it's going to change this supposed reality, or at least at a minimum, it's going to create a separate environment, no different than the example of one restaurant, like we talked about, and one that's doing the traditional thing. And the last thing I saw when I left, I ran to the store last night, and there was a church. And the church, I don't even know what kind of church it was, but it said on the sign, it said church services, Sunday 10:30. It said masks are optional, and it's about 1 block from that restaurant. So to me, that's how it works, right? It starts somewhere, whatever it is, and it starts to attract like frequencies, like vibrations, and it just starts to grow.
Yes, and these either people or places or situations, whatever you want to think of, they will be coming together magically. Magically.
Yeah.
You know, connecting, gluing to each other magically. So this will be happening, and every time two people or two realities of people or two places connect, we will be having a reinforcement of this.
Yeah.
So it's going to be becoming more powerful and more powerful and more powerful. It's happening magically.
God.
I just really wished more people felt this, really, because a lot of people still are feeling very attached to their way of life. And they're missing the beauty of this miraculous, divine transition, awakening, rebirth, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And I also wanted to say something about the sexuality thing you mentioned before, because I received the message when I was doing the female flames, that many females are going to be called to go through either a small or a bigger period of purification of their sexual energy, their life force energy. And again, I'm talking about the majority here. I'm not talking about the forerunners. And they might be called to do it on their own, without a partner, because the message went like this. There were certain elements in many females that were still not in balance. So hooking up with a man or connecting with a man without being ready at this point of awakening, at this point of our process of awakening, it would be dangerous. It's not allowed. Yeah. So basically, many women are saying, why don't I have a partner? Why? The answer is, it is safer for now for many women to go through this restart on their own without a partner. And after this, they will find their divine partner. But at the moment we are now, this period, especially after the 21st of December, anything that would compromise the process is being kicked out of the picture, is being pushed out.
It's being kicked out of bed, so to speak.
Yes. That's more correct.
I need some humor, man. Otherwise it's going to be tears again. It's really interesting. I hope this is okay I guess it's okay to share, but Morgan does a few different things. If you go to her site, there's like 4 or 5 different things. Harriet Scamus, and anyway, one of them, Sacred Sexuality, and somebody, it was a young lady in her 20s. Recently, they contacted her about having a session on Sacred Sexuality, and she's been celibate for 2 years, and she's seen somebody, but has told them sex is off the table because she innately, and through, I guess, seeing some of Morgan's work and so on, she said, I something to the effect like, I understand my sexual power, and I'm not going to waste it. Basically, like
which
in other words,
is what we've been doing.
Yeah,
we've been doing for eons.
Yeah,
we were wasting our life force.
Yeah. And so, if someone in their 20s is getting that, somewhere in this world, we're making progress. We're and I really believe that. I believe in so many regards, we've not given ourselves enough credit, which really has to do with our self-esteem and self-image, which really has to do with our conditioning that we've all been subjected to in the patriarch.
Yeah.
But as the days go by and you hear stories like that, or you have a conversation and listen to a sister like you, and people start to share these little bits and pieces of information, you start to see that we have a lot of traction. And that's why I say these predictions, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody, because I believe when somebody gets something, it's a lot like getting a fortune. It's a snapshot of what the trajectory is from that point forward. But as soon as you start stepping out of the, of the session or life or whatever, it starts to alter. But I guess what I'm trying to say is these dates of 2035 and 2050 and 20. Hey, I think it's right there. It's so close we can taste it.
And again, what is 5, 10, or 20 years in eternity?
True.
I'm not in a rush personally. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And I don't mind if it takes 15 years for this process to be completed. I'm fine with it. I'm just enjoying it. And I hope all our sisters and our brothers start to enjoying it, because this is it, guys. This is it. This is it. We've been waiting for this for so long.
We might need 15 years for our bodies to assimilate.
Yes. Why
Never know.
not? What is 15 years? It's nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get ready for the next show, but I want to ask you: have you have you noticed, you know, in your own body, have you noticed any substantial differences, any type of rejuvenation, uh, instant healing, or just anything like that? Have you noticed anything in terms of the physical aspect of the human?
I've had instant healings before in the past, but especially I'm speaking again after the 21st of December. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my body has entered plasma.
Okay.
There's no other way I can describe it. And working with plasma is very different than what we used to work. When you're working with plasma, everything, first of all, there is no frequency. For me, I cannot feel frequencies with plasma. This is what true life is for me. And when I had my second awakening within awakening back in February, March, this is what I realized. I realized that the entrapment happened through sound, happened through pulsation, through frequency. So the deprogramming of this is plasma. So when I work with plasma, there is no frequency, there's no vibration in the sense that we used to work with. And what I'm trying to say is that all these changing you asked me about my body are happening very slowly, like in slow motion. I feel my body changing in slow motion, and there's a lot of pain coming up. There's great changes in my aura that are happening. I've had a severe cleansing of my solar plexus. I have the feeling for us, as we're working towards our total rebirth, it's going to be the root chakra that is going to be very, very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are the experiences I've been having, and my body speaking more loudly than ever and more clear than ever. But I feel that I still have work to access certain parts of my being that were inaccessible. They will be accessible for all of us. When this happens, the mind cannot interfere. The mind cannot function. This is an experience, right? So, yeah, plasma is different.
That's interesting, about the plasma not having a frequency. And if you consider the mind as a frequency and you take the frequencies out, right? That's a very right. And the other thing you said about the root chakra. So like in the last 2 or 3 nights, it was either 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago when we were connecting, I heard something about 3 or 4 times and I still can't figure it out yet. I know it'll come. And that was something about the root chakra. It was about the root chakra. And it was basically kind of saying, I'm not saying this is the completion of it, that there's a place in the root chakra that there is that the gender energies are one, like almost like, well, it's a root, right? So almost like, I don't know how to explain this. I'm sitting here looking at a chakra chart right now. That's not a coincidence, but it was shown to me that in the root chakra, and it wasn't the root chakra itself, it was in the root chakra, like within it, there was part of it, you know, like a little core, like a seed or something, that space is where a male and female, there is no difference, if that makes sense. And that you
It's
mentioned
the
that.
union. It's the
Yeah.
union and the wholeness of our being. But also in the root chakra, it is all, if I say it correctly, forgive me, maybe I don't say it correctly. I'm just describing a sensation I have. In the root chakra, it's all our connection and memory of everything we went through in this 3D reality.
Yeah.
So in order for us, when the time comes for this total transition, it is the root chakra that will do it.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds a little bit weird, but this is a sensation I've been getting.
Yeah.
It is our detachment, our final detachment of the 3D reality, the memory, the chords, the memories of the underworlds, the memories of fear of what has been holding us here and entrapping us.
Yeah.
Or it's so many memories there, right? And it's being purified now. It will be in the weeks to come and the months to come. We will see, because it's also about safety. It is also about feeling secure.
Yeah.
And nobody has ever felt secure in this realm, in this reality, right?
Well,
this is what will we start feeling, truly secure, truly safety.
Yeah, everything.
I cannot put it in words. I'm sorry.
No, you did great. I like the way you say root chakra. But you know, everything you said, I resonate with everything you said. And to me, the biggest thing about bringing that up and then you explaining what you were getting or how you got it is that if we've learned anything at all, we've learned that the bigger the trauma, the bigger the blockage, right? The bigger the implant or whatever, the bigger the opportunity for elevation, expansion, creation. And if there's a little seed in the root chakra that is that place of union you're talking about, that stores all of the traumas in this incarnation, in our lineage, and so on and so on and so on, that is obviously going to be the toughest nut to crack, no pun intended, but it is also our reunification with, with uh, well, with creating a new, this is a new creation. This is the door to that holy womb. And
this time we're doing it.
Yeah.
This time
Yeah.
we're fulfilling our magnificence, our majesty. We're doing it this time.
Man,
and everybody will be challenged. And I've shared this with you before. Everyone will be challenged to the degree that they need to be challenged.
Yeah.
But challenge will reach the maximum until we're ready.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful, powerful day. We got 2 more shows. I'm trying to remember. Phoenix, Pachinko's coming on, and Franco Di Nicola. And Eirini, thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd.
It's the best show. We always have great shows, and this is the best show. I'm amazed at the level of people. You can always tell. Recently, every show that's happening, the numbers just keep getting bigger. And I'm not attached to the numbers, but it tells me that the show is a kind of a parallel of what's happening collectively. So it's very encouraging to see more and more people engaging, with their comments and everything.
I'm happy for this.
Yeah.
There is a big realignment happening in the spiritual community also, because a lot of deception is falling away.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of projection, it has been so easy to project unresolved trauma and unresolved energies we've been carrying to the spiritual world. And this was the biggest trap for the people who are in the spiritual community, for everyone.
Yeah.
So projection is over. There's no projection to the spirit world anymore, because it will be mirrored back and it's gonna have to be processed.
Well, and the interesting thing is, I think you just said it. I just want to restate it, but nobody has to point it out anymore because it's just going away, right? I mean, it's true, and that even goes for the ludicrous things that are presented in mainstream media or whatever, like the thing with the Greek prime minister. I mean, nobody has to point it out anymore because it's going away.
Miraculous. Yes, it's synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the universe is in the mood of humor now. I love it.
We could all use a good laugh. Okay, I'm gonna have to run. I love you.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
And thank you very much. You take care until the next time. Yeah, you take care.
Many kisses from Athens.